Hi, everybody. Serena here from Velocity 23, and we're sitting down with Justin from Sterling Homes. Justin, can you let everybody know who you are and a little bit about you?
Yeah, just Justin Nolette here from Sterling Homes, Edmonton. Been here for about 6 years. Thanks for the opportunity.
So, we're here today to talk about your Evolve line of homes. So, I would like to know, first of all, where this idea came from.
So our Evolve lineup started a few years ago now. And basically, at the time of its conception, an observation that we made and that we continued to make was that real estate values continued to outgrow or continued to grow at a much faster rate than household income. And so we actually have over 100 years of data showing like two very consistent trend lines. Income levels increase like this,
Hmm.
and real estate levels increase like this. So
Right.
it's a much steeper incline. And so that gap between real estate values and income continued to widen over time. It's only getting bigger. And so we thought like single family home ownership, as elusive for so many today, is an aspiration that, we ought to fight for. We want to keep that dream alive. We want to keep it within reach as best we can. And so that's essentially what our mission statement became. It states providing the opportunity for affordable home ownership without compromise. And
I love
so
that.
that's essentially like in a one sentence capture, like what Evolve is. So quality is not something that we stand to compromise on. And so really like at the heart of this mission, how can we as a company provide a quality built home? Like, so we're talking a home that's going to outlast every other home on the block. Like we want to be the last home standing in 100 years
Hmm.
and offer at the most affordable price point possible to home buyers, and really kind of try and reverse that script and that trend line that we've been seeing for so long. To achieve this mission, it's essentially like no stone left unturned. Like how can we be more efficient, like pin to pin from like a design perspective, from a purchasing perspective, from a construction perspective, how can we do that? And so that's essentially how the conversation started a few years ago when we were kind of looking at this and observed this trend line.
For me, that kind of gave me a little bit of background on how you guys shifted to that and why you shifted to that in regards to the mission
Mhm.
statement and how you feel about that. For you on your end in the construction process, like how does the process work for Sterling as a home builder?
As I mentioned, it's not just like a one singular department that is in charge of making this happen, right? And so from end to end, we looked at ways that we can create efficiencies and make more homes affordable for buyers, right? And so from a design perspective, what did that mean? Like creating more efficient layouts. So
Hmm.
like no long
Hmm.
hallways, having hallways actually lead to many places, not just one. No wasted space, I guess is the long and short of it. So we're just trying to maximize as many features as possible on a per square footage basis.
Right.
And so wherever possible, like we talked about like a lot about this, like baking in as many features as possible, including like mud rooms, like upstairs laundry, like getting a fourth bedroom upstairs, a bonus room, getting linen closets, full en suites, side entrances. And so these are all the types of features that we try and bake into our square footage. And so like when you're comparing one house to another at an equal square footage, you try and basically capture as many features and beat up the competition, essentially, for a lack of better words there, on features. And so creating more efficiencies. But also like from a design perspective, also represents like avoiding extra corners in foundation and interior walls. There's efficiencies there, avoiding cantilevers due to cost of insulation, choosing more efficient roof designs. For example, like having a hip roof over an alpine style gable roof that creates more efficiencies for buyers. And so
Okay. Okay.
that's an introduction to like from a design perspective what that represents for that department. But it also, as I mentioned, it kind of passes through the whole office from a purchasing perspective. We're a production builder, and so like volume, like pricing on all of our materials is something that we try and achieve for all of our buyers, so
Hmm.
that we still offer like great finishes, such as like your quartz countertops, your luxury vinyl plank flooring, your sill granite sinks, a nice appliance package. We're not just we are trying to like create more affordability for buyers, but we're not trying to simply give like base offerings on finishes either. And so
Yeah, it's not
right.
just the cheapest stove on the market type of thing.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so we're definitely trying to always achieve like pricing based off like building multiple volume builds at a time. And
Right.
so that, I've kind of captured, I guess you could say, like from the design perspective, from the purchasing perspective, there are elements there that are really important to the Evolve process. And then of course, from construction process as
Hmm.
well, we we try and build multiple homes in a row to gain efficiencies in prices and in building process. And so instead of, for example, like building one home here in Southwest Edmonton, another home there in Northeast Edmonton, when we commit and invest into like 5 homes in a row, that allows our trades to save on transportation costs and trip cart charges, so they can move from one home to the next. And so that represents, like, in of itself, significant like savings from, for example, an excavation perspective, where we can pass those savings on to the buyer. We also, not to dive in too deep here, but try and
People
have,
want to know.
yeah, we try and have like transformer like plans, in that customers want the ability naturally to like personalize their floor plans or their homes. And so we have a dedicated research and development team that like surveys client preferences, and we take that input and we try and incorporate that into our floor plans. And so you'll notice on our Evolve floor plans, they come ready, like baked in with like multiple floor plan variations and options that allow customers to basically find a layout or variation that best suits their need. And so this removes the need for like custom changes. And it also saves the customer like months in a design time, creating just an overall like more efficient process. Time in this industry essentially represents money. And so if we can have these like transformer like plans that save that time, it definitely, again, it just achieves that goal and that mission.
Right. Well, and for them, for your clients too, I would feel it would give them, it gives them they still get that input into their home, but they're not spending, like you said, all that time going through each tiny little itty bitty piece. It's very easy to look at, this is what I need, and they can put that in there, saving time on their own end, which means they get into their home quicker.
100%. I mean, I don't mean to like poo-poo on any other of our competition. There's great builders across the whole city. We are not for everyone. And, we try and fit a niche of buyers there that they're looking for that quality built home at an affordable price point. But, speaking to your point, like as it relates to like how quickly you can get into your home, I've heard customers waiting, upwards like 23, 24 months, at the time of their contract to move into their house, which I just think is just too long to wait for a new home. And so creating more efficiencies by having these plans that are already baked in with so many options and variations allows us to definitely accelerate the time of build, accelerate the time of processing, and makes that mission possible, making it more affordable essentially.
Yeah, most definitely. That sounds exactly like that. So you talked a lot about the process for your team in regards to design and production and actual construction, but what about a home buyer? Looking at a home buyer going into, say, a competitor's competitive home builder to you guys in regards to going into one of your homes and saying, the difference in the process for them in regards to a regular home versus an Evolve home.
One of the things I guess that we I guess label internally here is, and that we share as well with clients, is that like when you go through an Evolve show home, there's this acronym and it's called WYSIWYG. It's called what you see is what you get, essentially. That like for me, nothing is more frustrating as a buyer than being shown something that isn't included in the posted price. So when you walk into an Evolve home, you can be confident that that is what you're going to receive as a buyer. And so not only are we trying to, again, provide that like best bang for your buck, most like best value guaranteed, like compared to our competition, but we strive to be as transparent as possible and really like demonstrate and show like this is what you're going to receive as a buyer, which I think is one of the greater advantages of our Evolve lineup, as a collective.
You hear horror stories all the time of people who've gone in and go to get ready to get a house, and by the time end comes, it's way more money than they thought because they didn't realize this, and this weren't included.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's, I think, a really good point for today's home buyer, knowing that, like you said, what you see is what you get, and they're not going to get sprung with a bunch of surprises.
100%.
We got to be fair. We got to be a little bit even here. We've talked a lot about some of the pros, and I'm sure that you have some more that you'd love to share, which we would love to hear. But I do feel like there's got to be some cons you have to share.
And we're, we are a production builder. And so we build a lot of homes, and we've got a lot of different variety and a lot of different floor plans that we try and fit most buyers, requirements and needs.
Mhm.
But as I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, is like we're not a perfect fit for everybody, right? Strive to offer that best value guaranteed, and from a price per square foot comparison, always try and provide buyers the best value there as well. From a cons perspective, we do not we don't, in the industry we call it like redlining. And so basically you're taking a plan and then allowing the customer to take like a red pen, for lack of a better description, and chalk up changes and redline it. As I mentioned, we've got a research and development team that kind of studies customer wants and needs, and we try and capture as many of these needs as possible and integrate them into our plans. But Sterling Homes, we're not a custom builder.
Right.
So as it relates to like making changes on the fly and changing this and changing that, move that wall, move this, that's not something that fits within our business model, right? It doesn't fit into the overall mission statement. That is definitely not the type of buyer that we try and capture. There's many great builders that do that very well.
Not for you guys, and that's okay. Not everybody is for everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea.
Like you've mentioned, you're a production builder, and the Evolve line definitely seems to fit in with that business model. I'm interested to hear what some misconceptions that you guys have heard, maybe some of your reps have talked about, or that you guys have read about your Evolve line, excuse me, that just aren't true, like things that you would like to clear up and, let people know exactly how it is.
I think that when you introduce the word affordability, right, I think our brains almost immediately started like associating the word to cheap, right? And so I think that that's been thrown out there before, but I think that is the biggest misconception that exists with the Evolve lineup. We're talking about a home, as I mentioned earlier, that will, like, we strive to have a home that's going to outlast every other home on the block.
Right.
We want to be that last home standing. And we also want to be able to offer that at the most affordable price point to our buyers. And also provide you great value in the finishes, which is, includes the quartz countertops, like the luxury vinyl plank, as I mentioned, the great appliance package, etc. Great faucets, still granite sinks. Like, this is stuff that you'd see in a custom home. And so I think that that is definitely one of the most major misconceptions. We build a home that's like built to last. And we stand by that, and I stand by that as well. So I think that is definitely one of the biggest misconceptions there, is that we're this cheap builder, but it's just totally invalidated.
That's not it at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Before getting ready for this interview, I did a bit of research, and there was a couple of things that I want to check. And you actually mentioned you guys are not a custom builder. You guys are production builders. So there were a few things that I had noticed and read online that it's, there's no customizations at all. You can't make any types of changes. It's like cookie cutter to cookie cutter to cookie cutter. But when I was looking on your guys' site and checking things out, I did notice like maybe you can't pick certain things very specifically, but you do have, there was a color board thing where you could pick different colors, and there were different kinds of options and things like that. So how does that work with the Evolve line?
Yeah. I mean, you named it. And so naturally, as a production home builder, we build, and we build a lot, and we have a lot of different variety that's out there. But depending on the stage of construction, that's where you potentially have more flexibility to make some changes and personalize your home that better suits your needs, essentially. And so the word color board essentially means like the different types of finishing colors, from your floor. Okay. Colors to your hardware. And so we've got designer curated, if you will, like packages essentially that that you can choose from based on like where that home is at in construction. And so the earlier you get in, the better in that regard, because it does allow for that personalization. Right. And there's other like add-on products essentially that you can add to your home as well. Like, we're talking gas lines, you're talking, the color board, as you mentioned, and things along those lines. So
what about things like some builders offer, there's like feature walls or blind packages or different things like that. Are those options in your Evolve line homes?
Yeah. And so we actually have a dedicated section on our website where we have like the list, and like I think it's a carousel of all the different types of products that you can add. And so you want to add a finishing packages for your blinds, wall coverings. We've got a lot of great wall coverings in our show homes that kind of really like add that a bit of a pizzazz to our home. And so those are all options essentially that our buyers can choose, actually at any point in the build, whether it be, completed product or not. Other products that, again, that can be added on would include like a deck finish, some landscaping as well, options,
Right.
things along those lines.
In regards to the Evolve homes themselves, how do they differ from other builders' homes? Like if you're in a neighborhood and you guys have Evolve product there compared to another builder in a community?
I think that like one of the things that Evolve we stand by is offering like best price forward. One of the things too, like I find frustrating as a buyer is having to like negotiate. Like we stand by our mission. We are
Yeah.
trying to like introduce the most affordable option possible, and in that single family space to our buyers. We're going back to what I had said earlier, real estate values have gone like this over 100 years. Income not as steep of a climb, and so that gap is forming, and homes are becoming less and less accessible to the buyer. And so we try and have a pricing advantage, and we put our best foot forward essentially on price, so that when comparing apples to apples, an 1,800 square foot home compared to another 1,800 square foot home, in that same block, that we beat out that home on price to make it more affordable for that buyer that is just trying to get in, right?
Yeah.
And so, and on top of that, we're not hiding information. We're transparent, information forward. You go onto our website, and every piece of material that we use in that home is published. There's nothing hidden. I know I kind of alluded to like WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get. That we stand by that. And so everything you see when you walk through our homes is something that we stand by, and we're very transparent about the home that we build.
Yeah, I did notice that on your site, actually. You go to any home and there's a price there, right on it. There's no hiding behind it. There's nothing like that. I'd like to talk to you about, you guys, you said you've been doing the Evolve line homes for a few years now. So what kind of the people who have bought these homes, what do they say about the Evolve line? Like what kind of feedback do you guys get?
Our clients are wide ranging, right? And so when Evolve was initially, conceived, or when it was first created, it started as a single family home, rear detached garage, ranging in that like 1,100 square feet up to like about 1,500 square foot. That was like how Evolve got started, and over time that has evolved to different product types, to bigger square footages as well. And so over time our buyers have actually changed as well, and we feel like we're capturing a larger a group of Edmontonians essentially that are trying to achieve just a more affordable price point on their homes. And so one story kind of comes to mind, I guess, as you asked that question, is there's this one family that it was one of those like their dream was to get into a single family home, and we had this we released about I think 10 homes for an inventory, and they were one of the families that wanted this home, and like when it was confirmed essentially that they had received, the contract was accepted, the story I heard, they were in the show home, this family, and they're all like holding hands, and they're praying and like just like thankful to have like basically had the opportunity to achieve like that home ownership goal, right? And so
Right.
that in of itself, I guess, was just a really good feel good story. And that obviously is a bit of a one-off, and that I guess analogies that speaks to like our overall like mission, which is like trying to make homes more accessible for overall buyers. But I think that as a buyer, if you're looking to see like what are clients saying, and what are Evolve buyers, what kind of feedback are they providing? We've got video testimonials from clients that you can find, I'm sure, on YouTube and on our website as well. But I believe Google reviews is probably the best place to go to read up on customer feedback. Are we perfect? No. Our homes are built by humans, and sometimes we make mistakes and we try and fix them. But overall, I'm very proud, and the whole company here is proud to, I believe we're the highest rated production home builder in Edmonton on Google, and which I think is just like a testament to our overall customer satisfaction levels.
Most definitely.
And yeah, and speaks to what we're trying to do here with our missions.
So you had touched that the Evolve started off as one rear lane or rear garage detached home, correct? That's where it started from?
That's where it started, correct? Yeah.
So now, where are you guys at? you had mentioned there was a bit of a range. Like, does the Evolve line just run the whole gamut, or do you kind of keep it specific to certain types of homes?
To answer your question, yeah, we started as that rear attached single family home, but that has now expanded to multiple product types, and duplex homes as well that fit, within our Evolve lineup. We've got, again, we still have the single family rear detached garage homes, but we've expanded it into for front attached garage homes that fit into the model as well. And so what this means as a buyer is that, if you're looking for 1,000 square foot home or anything up to like that 2,600 square foot home as well,
Mhm.
you'll find an Evolve home that kind of fits that niche.
Now, are the Evolve homes restricted to specific communities, or again, they're all over the place?
What started in one select community or a couple select communities has, again, that in of itself has expanded into multiple communities as well. You can find our Evolve homes in over 20 communities, so we kind of span now with operations in Southwest Edmonton, Southeast Edmonton, Northwest Edmonton, Northeast Edmonton. We also are in the greater Edmonton area, so that means we've got land in Fort Saskatchewan
Hmm.
and Sherwood Park and Spruce Grove and Stony Plain. And we're also going to be introducing a new community in Beaumont that we're really excited about, just like 5-minute drive from Southeast Edmonton, just on the north side of Beaumont, that we're going to have plenty of options to choose from there. So you can find Evolve everywhere at this point. What we've observed is that there are Edmontonians looking to find affordable homes,
Yep.
single family homes at an affordable price point, and we feel like it's caught on, and so that's the reason why we've expanded. If it didn't work, we wouldn't have kept this going, right? We wouldn't have continued to expand it.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
over time, that we've received really positive feedback from customers, and continued to evolve that product line over time.
Justin, we've covered a lot about where Evolve came from and what you guys are doing, and how it's changed over the last few years. Where do you guys go from here? What's next up for Evolve?
As I alluded to, like our Evolve lineup, what started small has now grown into multiple product types,
Hmm.
and spans over multiple communities now. But our next mission that we're really excited about here at Sterling is to not only be the most affordable single family option in Edmonton, but for these homes to also have the lowest environmental impact in Edmonton by
Oh,
certifying them all with as built green homes. So this is in the works. Are we there today? No. Are we going to be there? Yes, that is the plan. And so this will represent a more durable home for buyers, a cleaner home, a home with more reduced monthly operating costs.
hmm.
And last but not least, Green Built, if you're certified through this program, it also provides buyers a CMHC insurance premium rebate eligibility. And
Oh,
so that will ultimately leave, more money in buyers' pockets. And at the end of the day, this will also leave our planet greener, for our kids and future generations to enjoy. And so we're really excited about that. It fits into that overall like mission statement of like
right.
letting home ownership without compromise. Like this is going to be a well-built home. This is a well-built home, and will be an even better built home. It's going to be airtight. It's going to be efficient. It's going to be green, and something that I think that we're going to be really proud of. So
I really like that.
that's what's next for Evolve. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, I'd like to say thank you for taking some time to sit down with me today and talk to us about this Evolve line of homes. Sounds like you guys are just going up and up and up with it. It sounds amazing.
Thank you for the opportunity to the interview, and I appreciate it. And I hope if buyers have any questions, of course, we've got a great team here that's ready to answer any questions you might have.
You betcha. Thanks so much, Justin.
Okay, thank you.